Hi there, welcome back to Aurelina Tarot. So today's video is going to be what do you need to release for the full moon in Capricorn. So yeah, we have 4 piles, 1 to 4. Please meditate on the pile, think about the full moon in Capricorn, and just think about anything related to hard work, academics, career, anything that you're working hard towards, and then we'll take a look at what you need to release. So if you're interested in a personal reading or supporting me, please check out the description box below. All right, thank you. Hi, pile 1. So today's reading is about what do you need to release for the full moon Capricorn. And you got the Knight of Swords, 5 of Wands, 10 of Coins. So the thing that's coming out is that you need to release this idea that you can only enjoy things once you get everything that you desire. It seems like you're super energetic. You've been putting a lot of hard work and effort into your career, your studies, anything you're passionate about. It seems like something you've been working really hard on. You're exerting so much effort and force. You're super determined. You're super disciplined, whether this is at work, you show up on time, you probably work more than 40 hours, or you're doing multiple roles at this job, like you're doing the most. And, you're probably getting, really good money at this company, but it's taking a lot of your time and energy. If this is studies, same thing. You're just studying super, super hard. You are really determined to get into that school that you want. You have like your whole career and everything mapped out. If this is a creative endeavor, maybe you're spending so much time creating because you need to sell products. You need to really upkeep your store. You need to upkeep your inventory. You have to keep posting. So you're working really, really hard. And there is going to be success, so don't worry. It's all going to pay off. You're going to be really financially stable. You're going to do well in this academic studies. Whatever it is, it's going to go well. The 10 of Coins is you're going to be financially stable, successful, whatever that means to you. It's going to get there. The message, though, is that you want to enjoy life as well in the meantime. You might be spending too much time obsessed with this thing, this career, this goal, that you're not really enjoying life. Like you're either doing a bunch for whatever this is, and that's about it. Like you don't really seem to enjoy anything else besides that. And there's a message as if like maybe you work really hard but you don't take time off. Like by the time you get really successful, I mean, you probably already are, but you don't want to become like old age and then look back and then you realize like you never really got to enjoy anything. Or maybe you're in college right now and all you do is study, but you don't really like take advantage of things that college students usually do. Like maybe they go party, they go do certain experiences. Maybe your friends are always out doing something and you don't participate because you're like, no, I gotta study, I have to be disciplined. Maybe you see people traveling and you're not traveling because you have to stay committed to whatever it is. And the message is that you don't want to wait until it's too late to enjoy it. The message is that you will be successful at this. It's guaranteed. You're putting in so much effort. If you decide to go and enjoy or take a break, it won't affect your future. In fact, it might make your future more enriched because by the time you do reach the success that you want, you'll have more things that have happened to you besides just whatever your goal was. Like you got to go on this fun road trip with your college friends and you don't have any responsibilities, you don't have a 9 to 5, you don't have any corporate limitations holding you back. You can do whatever, say whatever, you know, like don't just be on the grind all the time and not enjoy life. So don't be just studying like 24/7 and then you look back at your college and that's all you do is just study. But you know, maybe you could have during spring break, you know, maybe you could have taken that road trip to Yosemite, or you could have hung out with your friends and like done some crazy adventure for the summer for a bit. Or if you work a 9 to 5, you know, maybe it's okay that you call out a day and just, you know, take care of yourself. Or you know, your friends invited you to go on a trip and you have all this time off accumulated and you don't even touch it. And yeah, but you know, you're never gonna be like this young ever again, and life is short. And so the message is that don't get caught up in doing all this and then not enjoy your life, or don't enjoy the things that whatever you're working hard can afford you. But by the time you like decide to do it, it might be a little too late. And then one card I got for your blessings is garden. So with this, it's like, sorry, there's a bunch of kids outside my yard. You're gonna have a very beautiful and abundant life, and if you take the time to like smell the roses, or you want to do something fun or different that detours you, like feel free to do it. And just know that it won't affect your life. It will make your life much more enjoyable, actually. So, and it doesn't have to be like traveling. I know I keep saying traveling, but you could pick up a hobby. You know, maybe you think that you're in college, all you have to do is study, but why don't you just take like an art course, or you know, like join sports or something. If this is like work, same thing, you could still take art classes, you could still join a sports club, and you know, you can set boundaries. You know, I will study from like 7 to 3, or I'll work from 8 to 5 or whatever, and then when that time's done, I'm gonna go do something not pertaining to this. I put in the hard work for the day, I did what I have to, and I'm gonna go and explore and enjoy the rest of whatever. So there's a big message on you needing to kind of let go of being on the grind 24/7 and to try to build more enriching memories. So I do see for you in the future, you're going to have really fruitful memories, and you're gonna look back and be like, wow, I got to do all of this, and you know, you got to experience life differently, and you're gonna look back and be glad that you took some risks and opportunities you did at your current age. It doesn't matter how old you are, because you are technically never going to be younger than this moment anyways. So wherever you're at, it's never too late to enjoy it. And in fact, just the message is that don't wait till it's too late to enjoy it. Yeah, like with the tree too, it's like you're going to have a very abundant future, whatever it is you're thinking about. And trees will continue to grow when it rains, when it shines. And so like just trust in the process of all the effort you did and that it's growing over time. You don't need to watch yourself like all the time and micromanage yourself. Like a tree will grow to a tree as long as it gets the soil, the nutrients, and the water it needs. But you don't have to stand and watch the tree grow for like 24/7. You can like, you know, go and plant roses or go swim or do something else besides looking at the tree. So that's kind of the message, is you don't need to be so hyper-focused on whatever this is. You can go enjoy life and you'll still be growing and you'll still get the results you want. So anyways, that is what I got for you. Once again, this is Aurelina Tarot. I hope this message helped you, and if you would like to support me or book a personal reading, please check out the description box below. All right, thank you. Bye. Hi Pile 2, this is Aurelina Tarot. Thanks for clicking on this video. This video is about what do you need to release for the full moon Capricorn. So you got the 6 of Wands, 2 of Cups, Page of Wands, and 7 of Wands. So two messages are kind of coming out, but they're similar. So for one group of people, if you think you need someone to make you successful, the answer is no. And then the other group of you, if you think success can only be reached by yourself, the answer is also no. So you'll know which group you are in. Maybe group 1, you don't think you can do certain things without a partner or a business partner, or you need someone to mentor you, teach you, guide you. As nice as that is, it's not necessarily always true that you don't really need someone all the time. You know, a lot of businesses are started by one person. Of course, there's many businesses where they started with a partner, but you know, it doesn't have to be. For example, maybe you thought you needed a partner to buy a home. You would never have thought to buy a house by yourself and try to do this on a single income, but many people have bought houses by themselves. So why not yourself? You know, it might take a lot more effort to buy a house by yourself, obviously. But it could actually be more freeing. You know, you get to pick exactly the house you want. The paperwork is a lot simpler because it's just your forms. But obviously, you know, you have to make that income yourself to pay for it. Same thing with like starting a business. Of course, it's easier if you and someone else split the startup fees 50-50. But you know, it also comes with a lot of legal paperwork, making sure everything is split evenly, and for future, you know, if you decide to sell the business, stop the business, you know, that stuff. You might find that if you decide to do something yourself, it might be more freeing, and you might actually have more fun because you don't have to worry about what if your partner backstabs you, what if you like, or you know, maybe you and your partner or your current partner broke up and now you can't do XYZ. Or maybe you think you can't finish this artwork piece because your partner isn't there or something. I'm not too sure. There's just something there. One group of you really thinks you need someone else to complete or be successful. The answer is no. And then the second group is that some of you like don't want to accept help from others. And that group, you know, yes, you can be successful on your own, but it might, like I said, it might take a lot of work. And maybe you've always done everything by yourself. You're not like the first group. Like you started the business, you bought the home, you did XYZ by yourself. The message now is to like kind of lighten up and be more open to accepting help. Right, sorry. Sorry, I didn't close the window, so whoever walks past, you can kind of hear them. Let me just close the window really quick. All right, so going back to that message, so if you've done everything by yourself and you reach success or whatever, you know, maybe you started your business, you can consider hiring an employee, maybe part-time. You know, like maybe you don't have to do all the hard work yourself. You can hire like a part-time assistant and they come in for 4 hours and help you pack your stuff, pack the material, or just do some administrative help for you. Or you can hire an accountant to help you with invoicing. Maybe I don't know, maybe you code all the time and now you're tired of coding all the time and you really want someone who can help you code more. Well, I guess you can technically use ChatGPT now, so I don't know, maybe that wasn't the best example, but you know what it is. Whatever it is that you are, working hard at, you're already successful at, you can relinquish some things and accept help and care from others. There are some people who are very excited to help you and they don't mean any harm. I don't know if you think like people who offer you help are always trying to get something out of you or always trying to scam you. But some people just genuinely want to learn from you, want to help you. Like if you're afraid of hiring an employee, like they might not even want to stay too long. Like they just kind of want to come in, help you for a bit, have fun, and like leave. So maybe you're afraid of like employees trying to like get a lawsuit out of you or things like that. Be open. Like some people really, there are good people out there, and you don't even have to give them the whole business. Obviously, you can just hire them, like, hey, it's just 4 hours today and tomorrow, are you okay with that? It's like minimum wage, and some people are gonna be like, yeah, sure, that'll be fun, that sounds cool. Or yeah, I don't know, there's something about you accepting help, and the only thing I can think of right now is hiring a part-time employee. But if this is something else, like maybe, I know this might sound weird, but like maybe you like have a lot of homework to do and you just ask someone to help you with your homework, and then because they helped you with your homework, you can go out and play more or something like that. I mean, most of my videos are for adults. I don't know if that's really applicable, but there's just something that if you just accept a little bit of help, you don't have to work so hard yourself all the time, and you could free yourself up to do other things. And then I pulled one blessing card, so ship. So what's coming to mind is for the first group, if you are the one that thinks that you need someone to accomplish something, there are boats that you can sail by yourself. And likewise for group 2, a ship needs many people to go somewhere. And I know I feel like I'm contradicting myself in this video, but 2 of the same things can be true, or 2 opposites can be true at the same time. So there are many people who sail around the world, and it's literally just them and like a life jacket and some food. Obviously that seems like a stretch, but you know what I mean. Like some people just go sailing by themselves. They just take their little boat and they just go out for a ride. And then there are cruise ships or those huge ships back in the day that like Europeans would take to go explore the New World. Those ships need a ton of people, and there's no way you could like, can you imagine being those captains and you're trying to do literally everything? They would have never gone to America or whatever, without a ton of people helping them. So if you think that you can't accept help, just kind of use the analogy, like, where is your time best suited and focused on? Do you really need to do every little thing? Could you hire a deckhand to help you clean the ship so you can focus on steering the ship? And then vice versa, if you think you need somebody at all times to help you move in life, think of people who literally buy a boat, buy like those fancy boats or even a simple boat, and they just go sail by themselves. You like, maybe you really wanted to go sailing, or you really wanted to try this new hobby. You don't have to wait for someone to try it with you. You could just go do it yourself. And so yeah, that is like the message I'm getting. I hope this was clear to those who understand the situation. So whichever side you are on, I hope this was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe. If you would like a personal reading, please check out the description box below. And if you would like to support me or Alina Tarot, please also check out the description box below. All right, thanks, Pile 2. Bye. Hi, Pile 3. Welcome back to Oralina Tarot. This video is about what do you need to release for the full moon in Capricorn. So you got the Empress, Seven of Swords, the Wheel of Fortune, and King of Swords. So what I'm getting is that you might be a little too pure for the world, and it gets you kind of taken advantage of in this world. You might also just get caught in situations that you don't need to be because you're just a little too naive. And I don't mean this to offend you. It's just sometimes, especially when you first start out in jobs or school, you might think everybody is empathetic, you might think everybody is honest, you might think everyone is playing by the rules. However, that is not the case. And sometimes the more honorable, more honest, more thorough you are, it can actually hinder you or bite you in the butt. And you need to be a little bit more firm with your boundaries and be willing to learn how to strategically navigate life and this situation. And you need to hold on to your secrets. So if you're in school, you're studying in college, you might be super helpful. You post answers and Quizlets, you explain or something. You just the one who's really honest and helpful, and you study the most. But people might be taking advantage of you. If you're doing this, make sure you're getting paid like a tutor, but don't just do this for free, in my opinion. But if this is at work, you might be a lot of people, I find, especially, I shouldn't sound so negative, but a lot of people in managerial and executive positions, they I'm not trying to downplay all of them, but I will say that some of them get there from office politics, and they won't shy away from doing things that you might think are dishonorable. So, for example, they might be willing to let everyone else do the work and take the credit, and they don't mind doing that, while you would never even imagine doing that. Meanwhile, though, you are doing all the work and somebody is taking advantage of you. Or maybe you are honest at work, so you'll say yeah, this is what is happening. And you might not realize, though, that the person on the other side is going to take this information and try to get a discount off of you. Or now that they know this information, they will negotiate differently and get more out of it. And for example, some companies, when you go ask, let's say you need to go repair your plumbing, let's say you get a clogged sink, you would want to go and get proposals or estimates from at least 3 to 5 different plumbers, depending on what the work is. Obviously 5 might be excessive. And then you want to go ahead and just kind of figure out which one's the cheapest, which one is going to give you more work for whatever price. You kind of compare the two. Is typically how it is. Maybe before you would only go to one plumber, and you thought you could trust this one plumber, and then they are taking advantage of you this whole time, and kind of lying to you, and you are shocked about it. So it's something like that, is that you would have never, if you were a plumber, you would have never done that, right? You would have been honest and given them a fair price. Not everybody is like that in this world, and so one thing you need to let go of is being pure, and not, I'm not saying like go stab people in the back and things like that at work. I'm just saying that you don't need to be the most righteous and honorable person all the time. You know, like let's say that everybody else is really lazy, they don't do their work, you show up on time, you do more work and even more. You don't have to do that anymore. I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like if you were my friend and I heard that, I would just say the same thing. Like, do your work and just go home. And because you being honorable and trying to help all these other people who are not honorable, you're just getting yourself stuck in this endless cycle where you're not benefiting, you're just getting taken advantage of. So that is something that you need to release for the full moon. You need to develop strong boundaries. Be cutthroat if you have to. You know, be that person that says no. You know, be that person that just declines things. Just like if your boss keeps giving you projects, but they're not raising your salary or something, just say no. I know that's harder said than done, but in this world, if you continually say yes, the other person or other parties or the world is going to think that you're going to continue to just take it. So you really need to be firm in your boundaries. And if you aren't, you're going to continue to get taken advantage of, because why not? If a bully knows that they can bully and take some kid's lunch, why wouldn't they just go take that kid's lunch every day? So obviously, I know there are repercussions. You might think that like, oh, I can't stand up for myself because I will get fired. You know, I would ask you, like, is this place like paying you well enough that you're willing to put up with this? That you know, if you don't think, like, for example, if you work with a bunch of lazy people and if those people aren't being let go yet, like, why would you think that they would let you go if you're doing all the work, is another question I would ask you. And, you know, maybe you don't know your worth too, and that's something you're going to need to let go of. And like, you know, you gotta price yourself competitively. You know, businesses only stay in business because they make money, and you need to make money yourself as well. Don't give out stuff for free. Don't let yourself get taken advantage of. You know, value yourself and the work you do. And just know though, like, there are other people who are not as honorable as you. They get away with it. And if you get caught up with them, you're going to be stuck in a cycle that you don't want to. So you can change that. You know, you can definitely change it. And as you like grow in your industry, your field, or you know more and more people, you'll kind of see it too. And you'll be able to navigate them. But start one is don't be too pure. Don't be too honest. Obviously, like, you know, this is, I'm discussing this in like the relations, like if you go to work or you deal with really competitive people in your studies or things like that. And then your one blessing card, house, for the full moon in Capricorn. So I see a blessing is a beautiful home if you want to move. If you want to purchase a home that's coming your way. If you even work, I would say like there's somewhere that you're going to feel very peaceful at, and that you want to build with or build at. So if you are looking for a new job, I see that is going to come for you. If you want to move out for whatever reason, that's going to come, and it's going to come very beautifully. I guess, you know, like your family could also take advantage of you with the house card. So maybe you pay all the rent and they're not helping at all, but you see them not work, you see them play video games. So there's something about a new environment coming from you once you start to set your boundaries and do better for yourself. You know, once you choose that, like, things are going to open up. And for you specifically, not the bottom of the deck, there's a whip and scythe card. Yeah, so like you really need to like learn to cut people off, learn to not deal with people and stay in situations that aren't worth your time and value. Like if you are the farmer that grows your food all summer, or I don't know, all winter, spring, summer, you're like working hard, and when harvest time comes, you get to reap all the benefits. You know, don't let yourself get taken advantage from people who aren't putting in the work. You know, if they didn't, if other farmers aren't planting during winter, spring, and summer, like why do they get to just take your crops, you know? Like if they weren't as prepared for you, even though they know harvest time was coming, like they should have been doing it. And so, yeah, that message is that whatever this area is, you're going to get the rewards that you deserve at this environment or at a different location. So if this is work, you've been wanting to leave, you're going to find a new job, and they're going to treat you way better. You're going to meet people who are on your level, and they'll help you expand in life. If this is a home environment, maybe you'll move out with someone, or you're just going to find a place on your own, and then you end up having a better support system there with your neighbors than you did your own family. I don't know. Something new is going to benefit you, and then you'll learn to not deal with people who take advantage of you. So yeah, pile 3, I hope that was helpful. Once again, this is Oralina Tarot. If you would like to support or book a private reading with me, please check out the description box below. All right, thank you. Bye. Hi pile 4, thanks for clicking onto this video. This is Oralina Tarot, and this video is about what do you need to release for the full moon in Capricorn. So you got the Queen of Swords, 10 of Wands, Queen of Cups, 9 of Swords, and Page of Cups. So what you need to release is to not be so harsh with yourself and others. I don't know if you're very perfectionistic, you're very brutally honest, you have really strong standards and boundaries. Just know that, yes, those are needed in this world. They need it for success and career. You just don't need to be so hurtful to other people. And I don't know, and this can also apply to yourself. You know, maybe you're a little bit demanding or maybe you get overly upset when someone messes up or something. And you might notice that you cause a lot of hurt in others. And in the same time, you actually hurt yourself. So I don't know if you... Funny enough, when I was reading this is actually like the opposite of pile 3. Like pile 3 was always getting taken advantage of, and the message for them was to stop that and be more strict and like firm with their boundaries. Your message is a little bit of the opposite, or I guess that's an oxymoron. Yours is the opposite. You probably have extremely good boundaries. You might be super by the book and a little unrelentless, and it's actually hurting you and those around you in the process. So if you're a manager, you know, you might be a little hurtful to your employees or your coworkers. They're scared of you, or you may have hurt them unintentionally with your words or the way you do things because you're so strict. And the message here, and it honestly seems like you became this way because you were taken advantage of maybe in the past, and you just went, like you just did the 180, and you've become like a tyrant in the process. And it's a little bit hard to understand until I guess you look back, but maybe you see it now, and that's why you clicked on this video. Like maybe something happened recently and you're like, wow, I like really need to chill out. Like that wasn't a big deal, but I really blew it out of proportion and I hurt this other person. And it seems like you used to be a little bit softer, or maybe that's still inside of you and you want to be that way. You just don't trust that order can happen through that. So, and don't worry, you know, I'm not shaming you or anything. I'm just letting you know that this is like a growing pain that happens. You know, it's kind of like you're just almost at the next step of maturing, because most leaders are good at saying no, but also being empathetic. And it's really hard to have boundaries and be empathetic if it's if if you were once taken advantage of, because you probably set these boundaries so you don't get taken advantage of, and it's going to be hard for you to let go of it because you might think you're going to get taken advantage of. But with maturing over time, though, you'll realize like you don't need to be so brutal all the time, and you will start to show compassion and things like that. It reminds me of a lot of CEOs and stuff, or bosses. I'm not talking about like the big corporation ones because I feel like those are a little bit different. But I'm just thinking of like your everyday manager or boss, like they probably had a phase that they were brutal and really strict. But over time, maybe after they have kids or they've just been through so much, they kind of chill out a little bit. They're a little bit more flexible. They're a little bit more understanding. They're more compassionate. When their employees or coworkers mess up, they don't lash out at them. They're calm, they're patient. They don't get taken advantage of. Just because they're compassionate doesn't mean they'll let their coworkers, employees walk all over them. But they know when to be strict and when to be kind. And they're doing it at the same time. Like kindness and strictness can go hand in hand. You don't have to cut people at every chance you get. It kind of reminds me of when the bully gets to be the bully and then they go on this rampage and everyone's like, whoa, 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 chill out. And so for you, maybe you were really quick to kind of cut people off, say things, be firm, everybody gets it. But you don't have to be like that. You can kind of relax a little bit and just kind of go with the flow. And you're smart, you know what's up. And if let's just say, a coworker left early, you're not gonna, you don't have to call them out and tattletale them right away or make a big deal out of it. You'll be like, okay, maybe they don't do that often. Let me just monitor it. If they keep doing it repeatedly, then I'll make a big deal out of it or I'll report them. But, once in a while, no big deal. Or someone forgets to submit something, you don't have to slice their head off or anything, you can just ask them why were you late? How can we prevent that from happening? And then maybe you'll realize oh, they have a family illness or something really important. And then you're like, oh, okay, I understand, next time just let me know. I'm so sorry for your loss. You don't have to be like that manager that's that is totally unacceptable. We have to submit reports exactly at 11:59 and no later, Yeah, and people will still see you as a leader and they'll still respect you. And in fact, they might appreciate you more because you give them that leniency and understanding that most people typically don't give them. Or in this world, the world is already so harsh as it is. So I find that when people are compassionate and still lead, those people are amazing and very rare. So yeah, pile 4, it's just, there's something about you may have lost yourself in the process. And so just kind of imagine yourself if you were a new intern or something yourself, and show them compassion. People make mistakes and you yourself will make mistakes. And you can still be respected and life still goes on, if you show compassion to others. So you got 2 blessing cards actually. So you got the birds and the sun. Okay, so your blessings for the new moon in Capricorn is a vacation. There might be a place where you really want to go. And once you go there, you're gonna meet new people and they're going to give you a different perspective on life. Maybe you go to Europe and you see that everyone's chill there and society still thrives. I mean, I haven't been to Italy, so I don't know, but you know, supposedly Italy still thrives even though they don't work as hard as Americans. I'm not saying they're not hardworking, but America only gets 2 weeks of PTO and or pay time off, and I think Italy gets like 2 to 3 months, like mandatory. I don't know. I don't quote me on that, but that's my point. I'm trying to say is that they're not on the grind. They're much more chill, and they still get stuff done. They're not like the American psycho CEO is not normal over there. I'm thinking of also like in Germany, I think I think the way Europe is a little bit different than America, because America is like the company and the boss gets all the say. But in Europe, they actually have so many worker rights that the workers really have more say than the bosses. From what I've seen on like TikTok and Instagram, I've never applied there, so I wouldn't know. But for example, you know, I remember watching this TikTok of this girl, how she was like crying because in Germany, like when she was applying for a place, the company or the boss was asking, do you think we're a good fit for you? Like, would you enjoy being here? Do you see yourself working here? Like, he was really asking her if like they were worthy of being a company she wanted to work for, which is so mind-boggling because in America, when you're applying, you're just like, you're begging and you're trying to showcase how like good you are, like please pick me. So you're going to travel somewhere and you'll get this new perspective or experience that will soften you, and you'll be able to see things in a much lighter and more compassionate way. Also, something that I'm seeing is like maybe you'll get into a fight or someone might call you out. Like if that, that seems kind of like a negative thing, but you might witness someone get called out, or you might witness something that could happen to you as like a premonition is of what would happen if you don't change yourself. So don't worry on this. Like this isn't something like, it seems more like a squabble. It's nothing crazy. Like don't worry. But it seems like you'll get to like see this and then kind of avoid it. And then, but I kind of like just general, I see just like a fun vacation, and you know, you get to just like be a little bit more peaceful. You might be a little bit harsh, and on this vacation, you get to be a little bit more peaceful. You get to enjoy the sun. It seems more tropical and with a lot of flowers and birds. So that's one blessing that's coming to you. But yeah, pile 4, I hope that was helpful. Don't take any of this if it did not resonate, and I was not trying to offend you in any way. It's just a message that came out. All right, pile 4, I hope that was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.